24 years old, I got my dream job. I was an international flight attendant. I flew around the world. I've been to Paris and Japan, and I've been all around. I've gotten to meet some great people. I got to serve President Clinton. He was former President Clinton at the time, on an airplane. So I got to do some really, really cool things. And then I had my first child, and my world changed, and I hung up my wings, and I stayed home with him because my life just shifted, and that became my priority, and that became the most important thing to me. So I stayed home with Ty. I still loved aviation. My husband's in the aviation industry. He works for Southwest, and we are just airplane people. Yes, shout out to Southwest. We're just airplane people, and I still had people coming up to me, sending me emails, asking me, how do you become a flight attendant? My niece, my neighbor, I want to be a flight attendant. So I took all that information, all the emails I was sending, and I self-published a book called Looking Skyward. And it's a guide to become a flight attendant. Put it up on Amazon and started marketing it. One of the things I did was I started a Facebook group. And I'm just kind of I had read somewhere that you should have a Facebook group to help market your self-published book. So I had it set up at the beginning as a bonus. So if you bought the book, you could join the group. That didn't work super well because it was sort of a catch-22. No one knew who I was to buy the book because they couldn't get in the group unless they bought the book. So that just wasn't working. And after about 6 weeks, my group had doubled in size to about 12 people. The first six, of course, were my mom, my dad, my brother, my husband. So I'd gotten like 5 people sort of organically. That does not make a business very well, growing that slowly. So I decided that the Facebook group would just be a place that I connected people, and then after they had come into my group and given me permission, basically, to speak to them, then I could offer a product that I had that would solve their problem. So I started talking about the group and inviting people into the group and just sort of putting it out there that the group is open to anyone who's interested, who is a flight attendant, wants to be a flight attendant, ever thought about being a flight attendant, and the group began to grow. So the group started to grow, and as the community was built inside the group, and as people found value from the group, and as people started to get jobs as flight attendants, they began to invite their friends, and they began to invite other people that they knew and people that they worked with, and the group started to snowball, and then it began to grow a little bit more quickly. Once I hit 1,000 members, it really started to pick up pretty rapidly, and I stopped really inviting people. I don't ever invite people. I don't market it. I don't invite people or do blog posts or do anything that sort of drives traffic to the Facebook group, because right now it's all word of mouth. I have enough people that if everyone invites one person every now and again, it grows pretty rapidly still. When I hit 5,000 members, Facebook itself took notice of my group and the way that the community was so kind to each other, and the way that we loved each other, and the way that we were very encouraging. If you post that you're going to an interview, and this is what they do. So they put on their uniform outfit, and they go stand in the airport bathroom, and they take a selfie, and they say, "I'm headed off to Delta today. Give me some good vibes." And those comments will just flood them with encouragement. "You've got this. I love your lipstick. Your hair looks perfect. Your suit looks so good." And they just get built up. They get built up before they go into an interview. And even though, and guess who's encouraging them? Technically kind of their competition. But because this place is just such a loving place, and they're hoping to have that reciprocated, they feel comfortable giving out encouragement. And so things like that go on in the group. And when Facebook saw that, because I didn't know this, but they have people whose job it is to sort of troll around and find out what's happening that's cool on Facebook. So she reached out to me and said, "We love your group. Everyone in there is so encouraging. I've never seen anything like it, honestly. So we would love to feature you." And they sent a camera crew to my house, and they filmed me and my husband and my children using Facebook so that they could show it at their weekly staff meeting on Fridays. And that right there, when I got validated by Facebook, that was a really cool day. I'll be honest, it was a really cool day when Facebook came. After that, the group continued to grow and grow and grow, and that, once Facebook acknowledged me, it did open some other doors. So the Huffington Post called, Yahoo Travel called, Mashable.com called, some other big names called to interview me. So it opened some doors. Now the reason, and so the grand finale is I now have over 21,000 people in my Facebook group, okay? So, and it's still growing. It grows by 75 to 100 people a week. People come in and people go out, but I usually accept about 100 new people a week. And so it has continued to grow, and it's continued to prosper. And the reason that the reason that I tell you all of that story is because I want you to see the doors that a Facebook group can open. So it opened doors for me not only to grow my business, but also to have a relationship with reporters at the Huffington Post and to be featured on Yahoo Travel. And so some other places outside my Facebook group that's a little bit more mainstream. It really opened some cool doors that it would have taken me a really long time to get those doors open if I had just started knocking on them. So that's kind of cool. You may be asking yourself, do I need a Facebook group? How many of y'all are asking yourself, do I need a Facebook group? Okay, so my answer is yes. Okay, if it kind of doesn't work or you get in there and you're like, then just close it down. It's like not a big deal. But I think that you should start a Facebook group because you never know if it's going to work or not unless you do it. It's free. Social media is effective. Social media is fun. I mean, there's so many reasons why we should be on social media, and I think Facebook groups are the place to be. Another reason that you need a Facebook group is because it can help you easily collect people that either want what you're selling or think like you or do what you do, and you're creating a community for them. Like if you've ever thought, man, I wish, I love to knit scarves. I wish that I had someone that I could switch knitting recipes with. It's not a recipe, what's it called? A pattern. Knitting patterns with. Then hey, that would be an awesome Facebook group, because if you are looking for someone that's like-minded, then there's other people that are looking for that too. And so that's why my Facebook group is a niche, right? So I help aspiring flight attendants. I'm not people looking for a job, not people looking to get into aviation. It's super niched. And so there's usually only, this year is a pretty big year, there's probably going to be 2,500 people hired this year as flight attendants. And I'm just guesstimating that. But that's really small, right? That's not a ton of people even. But because I am so passionate about that niche, I've gotten really good at that niche too. Like, I'm not going to be able to coach you on how to get a job anywhere else because I'm just really good at coaching flight attendants. And I went ahead and embraced that, and I was able to get really good at it, and that helped me to kind of move up a little bit in the ranks, I guess, for lack of a better word. And I'm not trying to be like, I'm the best at everything, or I'm the best of this, but I'm really good at coaching flight attendants. I am, and I love doing it. And so being able to really focus on that has helped me to establish a group that has really good information in it, and people can trust me because I'm not trying to spread myself super thin. Another reason that you need your group is because it allows you to connect with your tribe or your followers or your clients in a way that even in email, you can't really get to them because they have to sort of click reply, and you don't always want to put something in someone's inbox, and if it's not really a big deal, the social media aspect breaks those barriers down for them and for you, so that they can easily just say, hey, Abbie, I was wondering about, do you know when Delta's going to start accepting applications again? And I can say, I haven't heard, but I think later this year. Whereas on an email, they may not take the time to email me that because it's just sort of like, hey, I was wondering. And social media really encourages that kind of interaction. Another thing is that it can connect, your tribe members can connect each other with each other. Whereas if I only had an email list, which I do have an email list, but if I only had an email list, they couldn't talk to each other the way that they can. Because let's go back to the Delta question. If someone says, hey, Abbie, when's Delta going to accept applications? Someone who works at Delta, maybe they do know the answer because they've got an internal email that I don't have access to. And so they can really connect with each other in a really cool way. And it also allows you to see what your tribe needs. Now, when you find out what your tribe needs, who knows what you should do about that? Create a product and sell it to them, right? Yeah. So that's how I really started coaching because, like I said, I had a book at the beginning. But people started asking me if they could have some of my time, too, so that they could go over interview questions. And when that started to happen, I realized that there was room for a coaching program. And I do interview coaching now, and that's where I make most of my money, not on my self-published book and not on some of my other things, but it's that one-on-one coaching that I provide that people were asking me for, that I created a formal coaching program. I would have never known that that was a thing that people would pay for if I didn't have a Facebook group and didn't have people asking me about that. So let's get into how you're going to get this group started and growing, because I get asked all the time, how do you get it growing? How do you get people engaged? How do you kind of get it rolling? Like, let's get it going. I don't know how to like sort of get over the hump of it. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to start a group, okay? And I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritties of, you go to the right side and you click down menu or whatever. So y'all can figure that out, or you can YouTube it or Google it. But you're going to start a group. Now, not a page, okay? A page is sort of like a sign or a billboard where you can post advertisements that kind of go public on Facebook. A group is more like a store where you're inviting people to come in, look around, shop, sit down, have a cup of coffee. It's more like it's much more inclusive. And so that's really important because people use those words interchangeably sometimes. And I'm talking about a group, not a page. For your settings, though, really quick, you want your group to be set on closed. Your choices are public, closed, and private. You want it to be closed. That allows people to find you, whereas private makes it hidden. But closed keeps all the posts from being shown to people who aren't members of the group. So there's a little bit of, I can't see what's going on unless I'm in there, so then they want to be in there. And then the next thing that we're going to talk about is how to grow engagement. So this is the big one, right? There's three ways that you increase engagement in your group. And it has to do with, first of all, you're going to create content, all right? And I like Facebook groups because my content creation is not a blog post with an intro and an exit and 3 paragraphs in the middle or anything. It's just a post. It's just the meat of whatever I'm trying to say. So I will create a post that has a little either encouragement or a tip or something interesting that I think is going on in the aviation industry, and I can just quickly pop that in there. The other way is I share other people's content. So a blog post that someone else did an awesome job posting that I didn't have to create about aviation or careers or interviews, and I'll share that into the group. So I can also share content. And then the third way is I encourage other people's content. This one's important. This is the one that will make your group members really like you, honestly. Because if they post something and you encourage it, or how do you encourage it? You like it, or now you can hover and give it a heart or a wow. Or if you comment on it, if the leader of the Facebook group comes in there and comments on your post, it's really cool. Y'all maybe are in some groups with, so, a lot of us are in a group that John Acuff is part of. I mean, if he comments on my post, New York Times bestseller just commented on my post, that's kind of cool. That kind of geeks me out a little bit. So when you are the one that's in charge of your group, you are that person to the people in your group. So being very active with your commenting, with your liking is super important. Another thing is some groups have strict rules. So you kind of get in there and you're like, I'm not sure if this is even allowed. So the more that you will comment and encourage other people's posts, it helps the people who are kind of lurking be brave, and they can add something in to the group. And it kind of encourages them, lets them know, yes, we want you to post. This isn't just my party. You can participate. Another way that you're going to do it is you're going to build a relationship. And so I'm just going to read you really quick the ways that I think that you build relationship in a Facebook group, and it's the same way you build any relationship. You're going to show up and you're going to act interested. You're going to listen to other people's stories, even if they're boring. That's not actually in there, but it's just real life. You're going to be quick with your encouragement. You're going to always tell the truth, and which builds trust. And forgive people when they say something that kind of stings. And then you're going to give grace to other people when the obligations are ignored. If, sometimes people say things that are kind of, maybe they recommend someone else's book in my group. That kind of stings a little bit. But you know what? Kiki Ward has a book that's great. So I let the post stay because it's offering value to my people. And I hope that they buy my book too, but I'm not going to just shut down the post just because it's my competition. Okay, so, and this is my book, and I want to give it to somebody who wants it. Oh, okay. Oh, good catch. Awesome. Okay, good. You're welcome. Now we're going to talk about how to make money. My timer, oh, wrap it up. I was like, my timer's not counting down, y'all. So okay, so now we're going to talk about how to make money. All right, first of all, your products. You're going to sell your own products. That's how you're going to have your biggest margins. You know, you're going to sell your own products. And I talked a little bit about how I know what products my customers want because they ask me questions, they ask me where to get certain things or how to do certain things so I can create a product for them. Another way is to take on advertisers. So I have a group, I have 21,000 people in my group. So from time to time, people will reach out to me and say, can I send you something and have you review it and suggest it to your group members? Or can I send you some money and have you talk about it? Now in my description, I have a disclosure that says sometimes my posts are ads, and I try to make it clear that my posts are ads because I'm not trying to, you know, like trick anyone. But like this lipstick, cute, right? Someone in my group sent it to me 2 weeks ago and said, would you mind trying this? It stays on really well, and if you like it, would you mind mentioning it in your group? And so even though that wasn't like a ton of money, that's just kind of cool. I got some lipstick in the mail, right? Okay, and then the third way is affiliates. And some of y'all may be familiar with affiliates. An affiliate is when you're basically paid a commission for selling someone else's product. And I only use products that I would suggest anyways. So if I'm going to suggest a certain like Tupperware container that's really good for travel, I just go out and try to find an affiliate link that goes with it just so that I can get a little bit of a kickback to help me, you know, help my business, kind of support my business. So it's not that I go out there just, you know, spamming them with affiliate links all day long for stuff that I wouldn't really recommend anyways. But once they trust me, I can usually get people to buy the things that I suggest. All right, last thing, how to deal with spammers. First of all, if they're being a, jackwagon, is that the word we're using? Then, then you just go ahead and you need to just remove them. Your Facebook group is your playground. It is yours, and I am giving you permission to not let any stinky, smelly, meanie faces stay in your group, especially if they're being mean to you. It is not more noble to just take it like a man, okay? And so that is the end because I'm getting my last call. But I just want you to be encouraged that that Facebook groups are probably the least expensive, most effective way, in my opinion, to connect with your customers and to serve your customers and to sell your products to your customers. All right. The end. You can come see me at my booth if you have questions.